Now, we'll be elaborating more on the life and of course what this means to the region, but also to this parliamentary group that actually had a speaker as one of their members at such a time when he had just taken less than a full year into office. And good things also the Lord desires them. Good people truly return to our Creator. So he will be giving us more insight into this man. Honorable, good morning.
Well, good morning. It is not a good period for us. It is really a sad moment in the sub-region of Acholi, in northern Uganda, in Parliament of Uganda, in Uganda as a whole, and not only Uganda, but people are mourning the Right Honorable Speaker, Jacob Oulanyah, almost everywhere. So it's not really a good period of time. But all in all, you know, reminds me about my primary for science, living things and non-living things. So one of the characteristics of living things, it must die, and it has happened. So that is the situation. It is not easy. We need a lot of the religious leaders to come in, counseling. The region is not doing well. People are mourning, crying everywhere. I get phone calls everywhere, you know, from morning to morning. The last 2 nights have not been very easy for me as the chairman of Acholi Parliamentary Group. It is not easy at all. That is the situation on the ground. It's not easy.
As the head of this parliamentary group, to you, what are those fond memories? How would you describe Jacob Oulanyah?
This is a man that, you know, something that we miss in life. When we have something, we always don't know the value. You can have your wife, you can have your child, you can have your car, you have something. Something you have, sometimes you don't know the value of what you have. People came to know the real value of Jacob Oulanyah when he's dead. But this is a lawyer who pays attention to details, who has a lot of humility. I mean, the way he handles people, love for people, basically you will compare him with a pastor. When you view different public speech that Jacob was making, he always preached unity. And I want to put one of the quotes that he likes. And always on the floor of Parliament when there is tension here and there, he will tell people, the river that divides us, the boundary that divides us, the tribe, the religion, is not thicker than the water that unites us. And that has been his message, unity. And that's why you will recall that at a time when he was sick, fighting for his life in the hospital bed, people were demonstrating outside the hospital. I called our parliamentary group and we said, this is totally wrong. But because of Jacob, the humility in him, the love that he has for people, when he died, we said we have actually forgiven those who are demonstrating in his hospital bed when he was sick. Those who are demonstrating outside, we've forgiven them. Because we realized that if this is a man who has been preaching unity, humility, why should we hold people in our hearts at a time when he's dead? We want him to rest in peace, and therefore, on his behalf, as leaders from Acholi sub-region, even up to now, those who are writing negatively about him, we said, no, we have forgiven them. They don't know what they are doing. Because first and foremost, if you can think about the life of Jacob, and then you look at now as we talk, the man who struggled all this time to become the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda is gone. You must know that as human beings, we are here temporarily. Therefore, we need each other. Why should you hold somebody in your heart when you're not going to be in this world forever? We are not immortal. And therefore, we need unity And I've told people of Uganda, and I want to repeat it here, that I'm saying, let the death of our brother, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, unite Uganda as a country.
Well, we know a speaker is at national level, but being from the Acholi parliamentary group or forum, let's look at what this means to the Acholi sub-region, having lost a man many have alluded to as one of the greatest ever from this region.
Something that is unique that you must know is that the Acholi sub-region has never voted for NRM. Never. President Museveni won in the sub-region for the first time. Why? People did not vote President Museveni as a person. People had a lot of trust in Jacob. I therefore think that the promise that Jacob made for the people of Acholi sub-region, for West Nile sub-region, for Lango sub-region, that this government will deliver, will get you out of poverty. This is a first, I would call it, will that government of Uganda has tasked to implement. Because, you know, in politics, people either buy you as a person, or your vision, or they trust in you into your party. People voted NRM in Acholi sub-region not because of President Museveni, but they trusted Jacob Oulanyah as the son of the soil, who actually, by tribe is a Lango, but he's a leader in Acholi sub-region. You imagine in the constituency of Omoro, where he has been voted consistently, the Lango is a minority. But people trusted him because of the kind of person he is. Jacob is somebody who will speak to your heart. And when he's singing the song, the local song of the Acholi people, the culture of the Acholi, he knows beyond even the people who are born the blood 311 Acholi. When he's dancing the local dance of the Acholi, the Buola dance, he will do it with a lot of humor. You know, you feel it in him. And therefore, we have talked to the National Organizing Committee that we are going to receive in our cultural way. When somebody is dead at a bigger position in Acholi, we do our Bola dance. And that is what we're going to do at Entebbe when he's coming in the country. That's what we will do even when we are taking him for burial. The state may have their own ritual, but I'll tell you, in the cultural way of the Acholi people, I have talked to the cultural institution, I have talked to the religious leaders, they all say, no, let us bury him in our own way. We're going to do the Bola dance and we welcome his body, and as we also escort him to his lasting, resting place.
Indeed, a great
when you ask me about what does it mean for Acholi, it is a painful moment. If anything, this is the highest ranking position that Acholi has got from the time that President Museveni came to power. We've never had anybody number 3 or number 2 in the country. So actually it's a big loss. But the question is, he did not attain that position because he is an Acholi. First of all, his competence as a person was so special. And that we have to take into consideration. We have to take into consideration. Yesterday I had a meeting we took for a long time. We were arguing and saying, we need this position for Acholi sub-region. We are marginalized. You will recall that the U-Boss came out with a list, the report that says that the region is the poorest in the country. And we thought when we have our son there, the African way, he will lobby for us at least and say, and indeed, my people is not doing well.
I remember him when he lobbied for a supplementary budget for families with no-ding disease children.
That is true.
1.3 billion
that is
to
true.
be given.
That is true. And therefore it is a great loss. We were thinking that our own, if one of us can come up, it will be good, will be great. And therefore in our meeting yesterday, we came out with 4 names of people that I'm going to release after this meeting, for the public to look at them and scrutinize. I can't say I have one person here you select. As a member of Acholi parliamentary group, we have come out with 4 names. And we said, these are our people whom we've decided to.
Are you at liberty to give us these 4 names now?
Well, I don't have a problem.
Give us.
I have the Minister for Disaster Preparedness, Hilary Onek. I have Honorable Mapenduzi Ojara, Martin. I have Lillian Abe, the woman member of parliament from Kitgum. I have Catherine Lamaga, the woman member of parliament from Omoro. But unfortunately, I've gotten a call this morning that our deputy speaker is also standing. And we said now, we cannot compete with our deputy speaker. So we are going to go back and say, are we also going to field candidate for speakership when our deputy speaker is standing?
Or are you going to be deputy?
We support the deputy speaker and then we go for deputy. And that's going to be our next meeting. We are concerned. When Jacob was sick and really sick, I talked to him 2 times. When the deputy speaker called me at the time when he wants to talk to me, that was on the 15th of February, when he laughed and talked to me, and I went on air to talk to the people of Acholi, people of northern Uganda, to say our son is okay. But unfortunately, on the 11th, on Friday, when I was called again, he wanted to talk to me. You hear him, he will talk, and then again he will keep quiet, then start talking again. He was not consistent the way it is. The voice was not the passion I know. The strength in him was not there. So considering the consistency of the struggle of our deputy speaker and the way she really, did everything necessary to save his life, we will discuss and see where we can go.
Yes. Honorable, this is a current affairs show, and of course we look at a number of things as we are discussing the life of Jacob Oulanyah. But also you heard the Acholi Parliamentary Forum, and when it comes to communication, we take your word better. We've seen a number of your members really kind of raising dust over this matter, disbelief of this, that, and that. What is your stand?
You see, actually, and I would say Luo culture. In the culture of the Luo people, first of all, people don't die.
But people die?
I'm telling you, in our culture, people don't die without any reason.
Okay.
Even if you died of malaria, we'll ask, why are you? And if you explain to us and tell us, it is because the mosquito was the one that brought what? The malaria in you. We will ask, why the mosquito bite only you out of the many people? And if it is you who was bitten by the mosquito, another question comes in. Many people are bitten by mosquito, but why you who died of the malaria? That's the culture of Africa. That's the culture of Luo. People would want to find out what killed this man, what killed this woman. That is the culture of the Luo, the culture of Africans. But also the circumstances under the death of Jacob is not friendly. You will recall that the competition that Jacob went through in Parliament was not friendly. It was really bloody, it was not good. And to make matters worse, why people have a lot of suspicion, when Jacob assumed office, the person he competed with did not reach Parliament up to now. When she is the minister, up to now. And you will recall that there has been a lot of witchcrafty things in Parliament of Uganda. And pictures which were not friendly. And therefore when he assumed the office, people became suspicious. When he became sick, he did not actually enjoy his office at all. If anything, I think he shared Parliament. Is it 5 times or 6 times? I need to check the answer to Parliament. So the circumstances that was surrounding Jacob's life when he became the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, it makes people suspicious. Suspicion. But also, I told my people yesterday, at time of difficulties, you need to make sure that you unleash the leadership in you. I talked to my members of Parliament, I said, show leadership now. Yes. You have to be strong. You have to talk to the people to understand that human beings die. And also, government is also making a mistake. Well, I talked to the Minister of Health, and she told me, it is upon the family to say, give the country the details about the sickness, the health. If she doesn't get the clearance from the family, she cannot go ahead to disclose the medical condition that brought him down. But all in all, it is important that government should come very clearly and explain what killed him. You know, when you leave that gap, that's where a lot of questions start coming in. We are getting a lot of calls. Even when I'm coming here now, people are saying, leave that parliament. To make even matters worse, people don't understand that it is a law that dictates that we cannot bury Jacob before electing another speaker. You know, even if in the African culture, somebody is dead, is not yet buried, you begin to discuss who can replace. Even the head of family. It doesn't make sense.
But this is what the law
says. But now the law, no, I'm saying, the law says that. But it is difficult to explain to a local person to understand.
Yes.
Even this morning, the radio stations are calling me, why are you electing the replacement of Jacob when he's not yet born? It is against our culture, but it's not against the constitution.
Actually, his burial, there must be a speaker.
It can't take place before his replacement is elected.
So it is legally right, morally maybe.
Yeah, legally it is right.
But morally.
Traditionally and morally it is not right. Because first of all, you campaigning when somebody is not buried. It is not simple. And I will request also, those who are coming to stand, they must show some humility when they're campaigning. As human beings, I know some people are excited. You want to become the Speaker of the Republic of Uganda. You want to become the Deputy Speaker of the Republic of Uganda. But the circumstances under which this election is taking place, however rich you are, however bright you are, however ambitious you are, I think there is need for humility.
Well, Honorable, time is not so much on our side. We know you have a very busy schedule because you're making things here and there work for the good of a proper send-off and, of course, maintaining calm with your people. You're a very busy person. Let me have your final shot regarding the life of Jacob Oulanyah.
I think, to me, I would say we thank God for giving us Jacob. Because it is not the number of years you've lived in the world that matters.
Yes.
There are people who are dying with 103 years, 110 years, 120 years. You will not know them. But if this man lived for 56 years, and he has done wonders in the country and in the world, that we can know him, we can think about him, we can mourn him, I think it is great. Jesus Christ lived for about 33 years. He left a legacy that we can never forget. After today and tomorrow, we have the followers of Jesus Christ. Increasing on a daily basis. And therefore, I would think that I would urge the people of Uganda, the people of Acholi, to emulate the good part of Jacob Oulanyah. For those who might have been, hurt by him, as a human being, you can make errors here and there. I will request the country, you forgive him. Let him rest in peace. It is normal that in a normal circumstances, when you are a normal human being, you cannot live without hurting anybody. Even Jesus Christ fought people in the church. So, for those who have been hurt by his life, I will ask, you forgive him, for him to have a resting place. But I would say, his life is something we can never forget. As I told you, people have lived for 100 years and plus, others for 70 years plus. You will not know them. But if you can know Jacob for the good things he has done in the country, I think this is great. As a family, as a region, it is not simple to take it, but that is life. We live through three, stages. You live in the womb when you are not yet born. And when we are there, actually, people think that is the best place to live in. And that's why you see babies kicking here and there when they're in the womb. And when they're being born, they cry. They think the life they're going for is a difficult one. But when they come to this living, you have children, you have your mother, you have your wife, your husband. We think this is the best life. And when we are dying, people cry. But I think it is a better life, as the Bible tells us.
Where we go?
Are we going there? There are no enemies, there are praises, there are no problems. I believe Jacob is in a better place because himself was a safety. And when you listen to his audio, you listen to his video recordings that people have, he was preaching love, preaching unity all the time. And I think he's in a better place.
Indeed,
and we thank God for his life and for giving him and also taking him. You see, God is the owner who gives and takes. If it is the right time that God decided to take him, we give glory to him. That's our position.
We give glory to him. We celebrate a life well spent, well lived with dignity and honor and humility. Jacob Oulanyah, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Well, we'll go for a short break, and when we return, we'll be giving you more. Thank you so much, Honorable Anthony, that is a call, who happens to be Clerk North Member of Parliament, but also the Chairperson, Acholi Parliamentary Group. See you soon when we return.
This is how we play. Play with power.
This is how we do it.
How we put a team together. This is how we pass on greatness. Because with this team to inspire us, there's nothing we can't do.
Go for goals and win. Buy a Pepsi glass bottle or Pepsi Max 330 ml. Check another crown and win soda, TVs, caps, t-shirts and cash. Redeem prizes at any Pepsi depot or truck countrywide. Terms and conditions apply. Pepsi, for the love of it.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. She grabbed her last command and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and Grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. And not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Professor Maggie Chigozi states, the time is now for all of us to get vaccinated.
When we have one person who's not vaccinated, it affects everybody around them, most especially the ones close to you. Keep your family safe. Anyone right now who's over 18 should go and get vaccinated.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water, or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. she grabbed her last kamani and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and Grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. And not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
You know, the life of the late Jacob Oulanyah and more of what the Acholi family is actually feeling, and obviously they are wishing him, you know, to rest, for his soul to rest in eternal peace. But well, we're also this day celebrating the World Water Day, and we'll be looking into what the theme is for this year and what that means. And we're looking at this year's theme being, you know, saving groundwater. How do we save groundwater to save our planet? Because obviously water has been a chain into living for the world, and that is where we bring in the water cycle. If you look at even the rains that we experience, while we talk about the dry and sunny condition, we still also have to look at the chain and where the water is involved when it comes to, you know, protecting the environment. And we are saying that due to the increasing demand, population growth and inevitable distribution of water bodies, the freshwater resources of our earth are depleting, so the use of water is judicial. And that's why we also talk about the fact that even our weather seasons, our rainy seasons here in the country have been linked to the water chain across the globe. And well, away from that, we also want to look into the satellites that are tapping in over Uganda for today and take a look into the weather that is happening across the country for this morning. Now, looking at what we have, we did start off with mostly clear weather across the northern part of the country, but as the day went on, as the morning went on, we were seeing most of the systems that were developing earlier across Lake Victoria, and that brought in rains, especially across the islands of Lake Victoria for earlier this morning. But it seems like we still have that system going on, and most likely that will be bringing us rains, especially across the central part of Lake Victoria for this morning. Now, also looking into what we have, especially across eastern Uganda, we continue with those dry conditions all the way through the Karamoja region, but we are having at least more of the rainy season system starting to develop, especially for southwestern part of the country. You also look into western Uganda, that is right now actually having most of those rains influenced by the moisture that is coming in from the Congo forest. So that is the advantage for the western side of the country. That means that they will continue with those rains, at least as we head into late March, early April, when we do expect the seasonal rains to stabilize over that area. But same goes for the southern part of Lake Victoria as well. You also look into the fact that that area is being influenced by, the lake, that is Lake Victoria, creating much more of the rains across the area. However, northern Uganda, eastern Uganda, the Karamoja region is still having mostly sunny intervals, so that means we might continue with dry conditions over that area. So for the people planning on planting for this season, the rainy season, at least the rains have started with the southern part of the country and a lot more to the western side, but the rest of the country can hold on at least until early April, where we do expect seasonal rains to stabilize across those areas. But we'll be giving you much more of those updates as we go on with our weather updates here on Good Morning Uganda. Talking of which, this morning we also want to take a look into the umeme situation in this country. Now, if you're out there and you have been stealing power, today we have an expert, and Philo is right there ready with us to take us through the conversation on what is happening with umeme right now and some of what they're prepared to do, especially for people who are stealing stuff. Philo, I want to hand it over to you. My name is Mollen, Kenyena, and I want to wish everyone a good morning. Over to you, Philomena.
Thank you so much, Mollen. Well, indeed, what Mollen says is quite an important issue that we need to address. Quite a number of Ugandans, a number of us have come out to complain to umeme. We probably say they're not doing what they're not, they're doing what rather they are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. But maybe sometimes it's because of our own actions that we are not getting the services that we ought to get. Well, this morning I am joined by Mr. Peter Kaoju, the head of communication from umeme. Now, if you don't know, umeme is definitely the company that is in charge of distributing electricity to Ugandans. All over social media, we have seen quite a number of people complaining, umeme, you're not doing this, umeme, you're not doing that. But it has also come to be established that vandalism of electricity infrastructure and the network is quite one of the biggest problems that Uganda is facing. And I was educated just a few minutes ago that clearly some of the issues we are facing are mainly because of our own actions. Well, you're welcome, Mr. Peter.
Thank you, Philomena.
Well, before we actually get into the scope of this vandalism, what it's doing to us as a country, maybe you just break it down for us. Somebody would basically think it's, stealing wires, stealing what, but what do you mean exactly by vandalism of electricity infrastructure?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning, our viewers. It's always good to be back here, UBC. I'm happy to be here this morning. Greetings from the men and women that work so hard to ensure that we are able to watch UBC in our homes and that we are able to charge all our gadgets, and that's people that work at umeme. Yes, we have been for the past about 17 years in charge of distributing electricity across the country, and we are happy that we are working hand in hand and on behalf of government of Uganda to ensure that we bring more people, more Ugandans to the grid, because the truth of the matter is that where there is electricity, life changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, life changes socio-economically, because almost everybody needs power, and so we're happy to be growing these numbers, and we stand at about 1.6 million customers on the grid right now, and a lot has happened over the years in terms of expanding the network, improving this network to bring about reliability, so that people do not, complain.
Yes.
But above all, just to get back to the issue, Philomena, you mentioned the issue of vandalism. We have been running and extending our network to about 44,000 kilometers as we stand right now. But we're facing some challenges that I think almost everybody else is beginning to face. And this is actually working against ourselves. And I was discussing with somebody yesterday, and I was telling them, why are we cheating ourselves as Ugandans?
Yes.
Because if a line is coming to a community, an electricity line is coming to a community, it is actually coming to serve the community there, the people there. There are people who are running schools there. There are people, of course, who are running hospitals and health centers. There are wananchi,
yes,
who run their meals, and then small shops, saloons, barber shops. So when a problem happens and one or two Ugandans come and cut a pole down, and then they steal cables, it's a problem. They bring about what we call, non-supply, because where you would be having a line running, you cannot run it.
Yes.
And it's a problem because you literally put everybody off. And for us, we look at the cost of non-supply as being extremely high. Some you may quantify, others you may not quantify because of the impact this has. So it's a growing problem, and it's being experienced almost in all parts of the country. But as of the end of December 2021,
yes,
this was most pronounced in Western Uganda, where we had about 133 kilometers of line of cable.
Yes.
These wires that you see running by us, actually being vandalized and taken.
Yes.
And then poles. So what vandalism means is, somebody accesses the network without any authority, and then they are able to cut down these poles and steal cables. Number one, it's a huge risk.
Yes.
Especially to the people that go up there, because in most cases they're actually not they're not on full gear, because they know they're stealing.
Because it's a fully technical person who is supposed to be doing that.
Yeah. So somebody goes up there and then they are stealing, and they do it in a rush because maybe police is going to get me, the community is going to see me.
It's a crime.
Yeah,
it's wrong.
Yeah. So it's a huge risk to that. But above that, also it's a huge risk to the surrounding communities, because they will cut cable, and by the time you wake up, you will not know there is actually a line that has come down.
Yes.
And in most cases, possibly it was live, or so it's a huge risk, and we engage with. We've been engaging with the communities and, of course, with the structures, the government structures across the board, to remind people that electricity is dangerous, and it is against the law for you to go and access any electricity infrastructure when you're not authorized, because it can take your life. It can also take the life of many others.
Okay, now actually before we get into what Umeme is actually doing, you did mention at the start that it's a growing challenge, and it's actually not only in Kampala. We are seeing the statistics that you availed that it is happening quite a whole lot on a larger scope in the western part of Uganda. But I would really want to know, why is it happening? What's giving the leeway to the people who really fully get engaged in this vandalism? Why is it happening on such a large scope? Why is it growing anyway?
Yeah. It's actually a huge puzzle, and everybody is actually perplexed. And there are so many strange things that happen, especially in our communities.
Yes.
And it's actually not only happening to Umeme, but you drive on some of our roads in Uganda, and you see the signages are all gone. So you can't know when you're approaching a very sharp bend. You can't know when you're approaching a bridge, because the signages have been taken.
Yes.
And I also know that there are some roads where bridges caved in because people went and took, the culverts that were in there, the metallic culverts that were there. It's huge. We have read stories of people stealing, railway sleepers. It's really a trend which is a very bad trend, which is actually taking root in our communities, and at the end of the day, it is actually costing all of us as taxpayers. But what we believe and what we are gathering from all the other people that we are working with is the fact that most of the vandalized material, most of this material that is stolen, actually ends up with scrap dealers. So people steal these cables and sell them to those that are buying scrap. And so we are working very, very closely right now. Of course, the Minister of Energy came out and indicated that there has been a committee which has been put in place, of course, headed by security.
Yes.
And this committee is working almost 24 hours now to surveil and on surveillance, and then, of course, engaging with the communities, of course, with ourselves, to ensure that we look out for these people as we pursue, other measures. Because when you look at, for instance, a meter, just 1 meter of cable, which you buy possibly about 500,000, the person selling it for scrap will possibly sell it at 1,000 shillings or even 2,000. This is a huge, difference. And
you really, on further scrutiny, you see something possibly bordering on sabotage.
Yes.
Because if government is saying we want everybody to access power by 2040, and then there is a section that is coming to just cut, and sometimes, by the way, they actually cut the poles and leave everything there and run.
Okay.
So it's a big puzzle to respond to your question. But above all, and what we want people to know is that this infrastructure belongs to us, and we believe and have been encouraging, and we will continue to remind the public that when such infrastructure comes to a place, it comes to make our lives better. It serves us, and so we should guard it. And in most cases, you will see that possibly the people that come to vandalize such infrastructure
yes.
are actually coming from the community. But the community
that is supposed to be helped by these services. And
yes, and then they will say that of course we know this so and so is so and so's son, so we can't we can't give such information to police, or we can't give such information to the to the authority. But I can tell you that this is actually a disservice to us as a community, because if we are to come to rectify and fix such a problem, it will take us between 2 weeks and possibly 2 months, and you can imagine the cost of not being on the grid.
Yes.
For that, it's a huge cost.
Well, I'm still with Mr. Peter Kaoji right here from Umeme, and we're talking about vandalism of electricity infrastructure. Definitely, if you know anybody in the community who does this, because these are the people that we stay with on a daily. Probably you know some of them, or you're even part of the people who actually do this. Well, it is your responsibility, because you're putting quite a whole lot of other people on, you're risking their lives as well. Definitely we'll also be getting into the risks, the health and safety of these march on as GMU agenda goes on. But Mr. Peter, I definitely understand that such actions definitely have quite certain implications. They put to you as Umeme, as the company, but also as the government of Uganda. There is money we lose, right?
Yes. It's actually a huge cost financially, and when we put figures together, in the 12 months running up to 31st December 2021, we lost about 26 billion Uganda shillings, 26 billion. This is the money that we had to put aside to actually reinstate the network which was vandalized,
yes.
which was stolen. It's a lot of money, and as the Minister of Energy put it the other time, just one pylon. You see those huge metallic poles that run or that bring power, the transmission. Each of them costs possibly a minimum of $100,000. So when it came down in Mkono, it rendered the entire Greater Kampala metropolitan area in darkness. We didn't have power,
yes.
and we had to keep looking for alternatives, and that took us almost 2 weeks to keep feeding the entire area. So the money is high, but also the money aside, for us we look at the cost also of non-supply, that in the event that a line is out on account of vandalism, on account of somebody stealing a cable, on account of somebody stealing or siphoning a transformer oil,
yes.
the cost is huge, because imagine all the people that I talked about. Right now, of course, we're just moving through a pandemic, and people keep medicine in fridges. A number of us
are you serious?
Yes. So if the fridges, if power goes off, then you don't have you cannot store the medication. Children and a number of others, students, also study online, and it means they will not actually have access to their facilities, which they should be.
Yes.
Yeah, a person who is running a small business at home, you sell water, you sell juice, you run a salon, you will not be able. So when you quantify all that, you really see that the cost is actually huge. And then at the end of the day, if you're able to remember, especially those people that are involved into vandalism, that it's actually our money, we the taxpayers, you actually know that you're actually pushing services that the government is rendering backwards. Because the money, imagine 26 billion in just 12 months. If we were to use that money to expand the network,
yes.
we'll cover a lot more people than just going back to reinstate the lines that have been stolen. So it is a huge cost, and we need to work together to ensure that we actually fight vandalism and ensure that our electricity is actually on as it should be.
Well, I think that, I mean, it's really beating my understanding, the fact that I'm sure that also in a way affects the way you're operating as Umeme. If, I mean, I know your ideal goal is to actually expand the people on the grid, but if you have to keep pushing back the money to do things that it has already done, that's a loss for us as Ugandans, which is really sad. Now let's talk about the health and even the safety of all these. It's really, how are people very daring to actually go on and, because let me tell you, even switching on in my house, that is just the greatest worry I have, because sometimes I'm worried, what if I'm shocked by all this? But the people who go in to do this hardcore stealing, connecting, illegal connections, I know it's been happening. What are you doing to make sure that it does not happen anymore? Because we know that many people out there that have illegal connections, you know, you'd see the person has power, but you clearly know this looks like some shady work, this looks like some sketchy work. What is the work that is being done to make sure that all that is really gotten rid of?
Thank you, Philomena. First of all, you shouldn't fear to switch on your light when you're
Anything
at home.
that has to do with electricity, it really scares me.
The truth of the matter is that electricity is dangerous.
Yes.
And like we always tell people, electricity and water do not mix. And if you're not authorized to actually come to the network, please do not. But I think that the tip that I wanted to start with is if you have built a house and you want to install power, number one thing you need to do is to look out for the certified wiremen for them to do the wiring for your house. And these ones are certified by the regulator, that's the Electricity Regulatory Authority. And these are able to train. They train people on an annual basis, and they are certified. They give them certificates. So if you're inviting somebody to wire your house, that person must possess that certificate.
I actually can ask to see the certification?
Yes, you should ask, because it is your house. It is very expensive, you know, to build these days. So if you have made your savings, or if you have got money, maybe from the bank or wherever, and you're able to build your house, please do not put it at a risk by inviting somebody who is not certified, who will come and before you know, your house is actually up in flames. So we need to encourage people to look out for certified wiremen, and these ones you can tell by visiting the website of ERA or the website of Umeme, and you'll be able, or even visiting a nearby office, you'll be guided to get somebody who is the right person, so that you're very sure that even when you're in your house, you know it was properly wired, and then the installation is actually done. So if once wiring is done, then you can apply for an electricity connection. You don't even have to visit us physically. You can now apply for a power connection online through our website, www.umeme.co.ug, and then you go to the section of online application. We will attend to you, and if you have made and met your obligations, within 5 to 10 days you actually have a connection. That secures your house, so that Philomena does not have to worry. But also, once you're in, please do ensure that you do not have water in your hands when you're touching, and when you're leaving your house, switch off the sockets, so that you don't leave any utensils that you do not need while you're away on. That's very, very important. Number two is the fact that out there's a group of people commonly known as Kamufos. Some of these purport to be working for Umeme or any other entity within the energy sector.
Yes.
And what we have done in that aspect is, again, to ensure that we give all our workers identity cards, that once you're going out to access our network, you must have an identity card for Umeme.
Yes.
You must be on our uniform, the overalls, and in the event that somebody has come to your house, they should be able to introduce themselves. My name is Peter Kauju. I work for Umeme. I am here to check on your electricity connection, and that person should be able to introduce themselves. But also, in the event that you're not sure or you suspect that this could be somebody masquerading, you can actually call us also.
Yes.
Or reach out to the nearby police or security, because we work hand in hand with them. But we also have a toll-free line that we've been marketing, and people actually are able to call us, which is 0800 285 285 or 0800 385 385. You call on us in case you are in doubt, and then we are able to quickly come to that. But we also run what we call community outreach programs, just to go out to the community and sensitize them, also listen to them if they have any electricity issues that they need to raise. And above all, we are not working alone.
Yes.
We work as a sector, of course, led by our minister for Energy and Mineral Development, and she was able to inaugurate a committee, security committee, which is in charge of conducting surveillance and working with the communities to ensure that we can check out the vice of people stealing electricity and electricity cables. And just 2 weeks back, we were in Western Uganda, of course in Imbarara, talking to the communities and working hand in hand with the stakeholders there. We have been across the country, and we continue to do that. It also explains why I am here on national broadcaster, to speak to people and remind them that we should not do anything that actually sets us back on the development path. Let us protect the infrastructure that government is putting in place.
Which actually brings me to the other question. Indeed, you talked about the work that you're doing with the Ministry of Energy, the security committee. What else is Women doing? Because this is a problem that has been happening and it's been there for a while. Only that it has times when it's maybe on the low, and then there are times when it's really out there. What else can we expect from Women to make sure that we do away with this problem? Because at the end of the day, there are people who are actually dying for sins that are not theirs. Will come and then steal all these wires and steal all this infrastructure, and it's affecting us.
Yeah, that's very true, Philomena. And besides people just stealing, the cables, which is a huge risk to them also.
We are losing people.
Yes,
who are dying.
yes, we are losing people as a result. So that's one of the cables you can see, and I think that was a patch on the line to Masindi Port, which was a huge problem. You fix a line, and just 4 days ago, we were getting calls from Mitiana. They had stolen a line, they had stolen cables for 2 weeks and were fixing it. So 4 days after we had fixed, they returned and took the exact, and took down the exact line. The line supplying, going to Chisozi House, they took out the line going to Chankwanzi, National Leadership Institute. So it's a huge problem. So what we are doing is to, again, engage with the communities through the LOCs, through the RDCs, and also just going, reaching door to door and engaging with people, reminding them of the dangers of electricity. So we also have people who actually illegally access the network, and they hook themselves onto the network. It's a huge, risk, because they do that illegally, and it's not professional. You're not sure how they have done it, and it is absolute theft, because it's power theft. They are stealing a service that ordinarily they should be paying for, and they do it haphazardly, because where they hook the wires is not where they should actually be, picking power from. So it's a huge risk to the communities, and reports that we have from some other areas, you actually see that people have died, and like you said, innocently, because if your neighbor taps power, possibly going through your backyard or your gardens, you will not know. As you go to your gardens, there's a problem there, and this used to be very, very rampant in eastern Uganda, in the areas of Sebei, Mbale, Tororo, Butaleja, in all those other areas. But we are working hand in hand with the community in these respective areas to remind them about the dangers of electricity, but also getting them and taking them to courts of law. We have very high hope, because right now there are amendments that are going on in the Electricity Act of 1999. We believe that if the punishment or the repercussions are actually more punitive. They are higher. If you get somebody who has stolen a cable, who has cut down a line like that, if that person gets possibly 10 years in prison or more, it will act as a deterrent to the community. All these others will not touch it, but above all, it will have saved the lives of so many of Ugandans. Or if the fine is hefty, it's huge, it will also, you know, keep these thieves away from our network, because this is not you know, building our nation. This is not nation building when we're actually putting, you know, taxpayers' money at a risk. So we'll continue to engage with the communities. We'll continue to work hand in hand with all the other structures, including you know, prosecuting people in courts of law, so that we don't get, you know, less for such criminality.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, maybe just to throw a bit of clarity on this issue of the frequent power outages in the areas of Naguru. I've seen on Twitter especially, Umeme come out to announce, and it's really frequent. Is it Nigeria? We have seen Congo. Could you say it's also maybe because of the problem, the same problem, vandalism, or there is actually something going on that we need to be ready for and probably be patient with?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Philomena. In some areas, it is vandalism, as I have clearly indicated, but there are also a number of other areas where we have been, you know, revamping the network. As I said, one of our critical mandates is to ensure that we actually distribute reliable power in across the country, across the footprint. And so what we have been doing is also to rehabilitate and revamp the network. Some areas had really old infrastructure. The poles were old and dilapidated, the cables themselves, and others actually needed more transformers. Others also needed new substations. So we have been able to build new infrastructure like the areas you're mentioning. We just you know, finished in Tinda substation, and it is helping us to serve some of those other areas. So other areas will go off because we are rehabilitating. But also what we do as responsible utility service providers is to actually send out information.
Oh yes, you do.
Yeah, we send out information so that people can plan their consumption. We indicate that in this given period we'll be able to switch off power for so many hours to allow us to rehabilitate these areas. But again, this has reduced actually. If you look at what used to happen, because we used to have load shedding.
Yes.
Now load shedding is not there. We just have shutdowns to allow for maintenance and rehabilitation of some of these other particular areas. But also there could be faults that are localized, or possibly in your house, maybe something happened and maybe there's a fault on your meter. We also quickly attend to that, because we are almost at your service 24 hours a day. And so when there is a fault locally in your area, please reach out to us on those numbers that I have given you.
Yes.
But above all, we are doing our best to ensure that we can rehabilitate the network so that it is reliable, and that we provide electricity that can support the needs of Ugandans across the board.
Well, I'm glad you've put some clarity to this. At least now you know that somewhere, somehow, there is a reason why you're having the frequent power outages. Probably they're trying to make sure you have new infrastructure. And indeed, Umeme does pass out the communication that we are all very, very, very certain of, and we can attest to that. Vandalism is really very, very dangerous. It's costing you as a human being, but also costing the entire community, but also the government of Uganda. You clearly want to see your money do something, you know, not doing the same thing over and over and over. So it's really our personal responsibility to make sure we don't indulge in this. And even if you see somebody doing it, it's wrong, you can always report this person, you know, just for the good of the community. Electricity is dangerous, but it could also be very, very useful. So as we come to the end of this, Peter, what would be your closing remarks?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think number one is just to remind Ugandans and the people that are there, in case you have a facility that you want to connect to power, our teams are available. You may choose to apply for power online, and we will be at your service. Once you have submitted all your applications, once you have made the payments, we should be able to come and connect you between 5 and 10 days. In the event that you're comfortable visiting any of our service centers, because we have service centers across our business footprint, almost over 50 service centers, and people can receive you there. But we've been encouraging, our customers to transact with us online. Of course, the pandemic taught us a lot of things, because we had to invest in technology so that customers can serve themselves, and that's why you no longer have to come and pay for your bill while standing there. Have invested,
standing in long queues.
Yeah, in queues, yes. So you can just utilize your phone. Majority of us have smartphones, and I was reading statistics the other day. They're saying we have about 13.4 million Ugandans online. So you can utilize that opportunity to apply with us, to apply for your connection online. But in the event that you feel comfortable visiting, we still can't chase you away. We'll be able to attend to you. So visit any of our service centers and we'll be able to connect you on the electricity grid. The other item I want to remind our people is the fact that electricity is dangerous, as we have always told you. So please avoid any illegal access to the network. Where we are coming from during those days of campaigns, again, you would see people putting posters on electricity lines with stones, with bottles of water, and you're like, have they forgotten that this is dangerous? So it's very important that we avoid that. And also we have been told that the rains are starting. The rainy season is starting.
It's actually,
it's with us. I actually came here under rain. So we need to be very cautious. When it is raining, please do not come anywhere closer to any electricity line, because you never know what could happen. And we always advise people that during a storm, if you can afford to stay indoors, please stay indoors. And once you see any leaning pole, please report to us. If you see any broken lines, please do not touch it. Reach us through the lines I shared, or even call anybody, so that we are able to come and attend to it. And very, very important, it's just a reminder to tell people that when such infrastructure comes to our communities, it is actually coming to uplift our socioeconomic well-being, so that people can be able to utilize this power to make their lives better. Let us protect this infrastructure. It is coming to serve us. You may be seeing umeme, but we are doing this for you and on behalf of government of Uganda. So once you see anybody illegally accessing our electricity lines or coming to steal, these people are against our better lives in the communities. Let us work hand in hand to ensure that we do away with vandalism of electricity infrastructure, and we protect all these installations that government has put in place for us. As I wind up again, I also want to commiserate, of course, and condole with the family of our fallen speaker, the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Amen. Thank you so much, Peter, for stopping by. He is the head of communication at Umeme. Electricity can be very, very relevant and useful, but it can also be dangerous. Well, as Uganda, we are still indeed mourning the death of the late Jacob Oulanyah, the Speaker of the 11th Parliament of Uganda. However, we have promised you, as Good Morning Uganda and as UBC TV, we'll be definitely giving you the updates as they unfold live, actually, concerning the arrangements. We are here for all of that 24/7, 365. So we'll be giving you each and every single detail, all the nitty-gritties. We'll be giving them to you. We're right about now. We'll leave you to more of these details and these updates. It is Good Morning Uganda. I am Philomena Mastiko.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. She grabbed her last command and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. And not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you, or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Professor Maggie Chigozi states, the time is now for all of us to get vaccinated.
When we have one person who's not vaccinated, it affects everybody around them, most especially the ones close to you. Keep your family safe. Anyone right now who's over 18 should go and get vaccinated.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
This is how we play. Play with power.
This is how we do it.
How we put a team together. This is how we pass on greatness. Because with this team to inspire us, there's nothing we can't do.
Go for goals and win! Buy a Pepsi glass bottle or Pepsi Max 330 ml. Check another crown and win soda, TVs, caps, t-shirts and cash. Redeem prizes at any Pepsi depot or truck countrywide. Terms and conditions apply.
Pepsi, for the love of it.